What's going on, everybody? This be your boy DJ Anonymous with Sportsbizmusic, the podcast. I forgot what episode it is. I don't know if it's 53 or 54. But we have a special guest on the show today. We got my boy Art Morera.
What's up, y'all? How's it going, y'all? Art Morera here in Miami, Florida. What's poppin'?
What's been going on with you, man?
Bro, just chilling, man. Just laying low right now. Mm-hmm. Just stocking up on content. Mm-hmm. Making music. Mm-hmm. Losing weight.
Yeah, I'm trying to do that too.
Yeah. It ain't hard with this cold weather, man.
Yeah,
you know?
It is.
Like when it's hot outside or something, like it's inviting to go for a jog, but when you're like in this chilly weather, I know that anyone outside of South Florida, they hear us talk about cold weather and it's like an insult to them, you know? Because to them, what's cold to us is like tank top weather to them.
Yeah.
But I don't care, like it's just cold to me.
I tell my wife all the time, like, cause she lives in Miami pretty much her whole life, but her family from New York. I tell her all the time, it's like I have people from out of town that come down when it get real cold down here. They say this is a different cold. Like it's the humidity, like it's windy, it's not that much dry, so they don't understand. Like it get cold down here.
Yeah, it's more like you're going for a run, and then once you start breaking that sweat, like you're increasing your body heat, and then you start sweating. But then when you stop, you're like drenched in your sweat, and it's cold outside. And I feel like that's like, like I be catching cold from that. Yeah. So. But yeah, bro, like I can't really be making excuses, man. I really want to like get on point physically, so I've just been doing it like every day. Yeah. Get used to it after a while.
Yeah, man. Health is wealth, man. So before I ask you a few questions, introduce yourself to everybody.
For sure, yeah. So listen, man, my name's Art Morera. I'm a hip-hop recording artist from Miami, Florida. I also, I make my own music now. I used to work with producers, but now I'm making my own production. I'm kind of like one of these, like, I'll educate myself on whatever criteria it is that I feel like needs to be done to better myself. I love learning new things. Like I'll go on YouTube and I'll just look up how to work this new camera or how to work this program, or the influences of this and that. I just love learning. Like in the Matrix when Neo is like, I just learned jujitsu. That's me, like all day. I just be binging like educational things on YouTube. So I make music. I direct and edit my own videos. I own a dog who's an awesome little dog, Morty. Yeah. And I'm Cuban American, born and raised in Miami, but I moved out of Miami in 2014 to pursue a rap career, like out of California. Okay, yeah. And got me wrapped up in this whole thing. So now my music has become more like autobiographical. You feel me? I'm kind of using music as a platform to tell my life story. That's pretty much where I'm at right now, man.
That's what's up. So, like, my first question is, the beginnings. Like, what made you want to get into like music, specifically hip hop?
Man, are you talking about like when I was a kid?
Yeah.
Okay, like, word. We're going back.
Way back.
All right, word. So look, man, like I grew up in the late 90s. Like I was born in 87, so I grew up in like the 90s, Yeah. And in the 90s, I feel like as kids we just kind of wanted to be cool. And what was cool at the time, and now obviously still, is hip hop. And my older cousins played hip hop, and I always had like a natural like knack for writing poetry. So I enjoyed music. It just kind of made sense. It's like math, I enjoy music. I'm good with words. My older cousins and my friends were already listening to hip hop, so I ventured into it, and it just kind of naturally fit. And then I began to appreciate the culture as time passed, because I saw that it was way deeper than surface level of just writing some raps over some beats. You start to see how it really improves the quality of someone's life. And then I started to like see, damn, people can really like enjoy their human experience in this hip hop culture. Breakdancing, graffiti, DJing, rapping, fashion, beatboxing. Like, and I'm like, damn, this is cool, man. Life seems cool if you live it this way. So I just kind of like I just nose dove into just rap. you know, start to gain an appreciation for like how you can rap a verse into a mic in front of a crowd and they get wowed by your rhyme schemes or how you deliver it to them. You know what I'm saying? And it kind of makes it seem like these rappers are powerful people, you know? And you want to be strong, you want to be powerful as a kid. Goku, Vegeta, you see these, you know what I'm saying?
Because now you seeing it now, especially like in music, you can tell like the generation, like, you know, I was born in 92, so I kind of grew up in the 90s, but the 2000s was like, you know, I really took that, and then like hearing artists like from then where they was talking about, you know, money, drugs, they had their own little stories and stuff, but with girls and everything. But now in this generation, you know, they talking about like more things I can relate to, like, you know, anime and video games and stuff like that. Like, it's just like it's a change. Some people don't like it, some people do. I preferably listen to certain, you know, new rappers because I'm so used to listening to artists like Jay-Z and Nas and things of that nature. So it's just like and Scarface and all them. So
who do you bump nowadays?
Nowadays, of course, you know, J. Cole, Kendricks. Out of the new artists, I can say my favorite right now is Travis Scott.
Okay.
Like, I've been, you know, since like rodeo days, but like he really like elevate like his music. Like, he really elevated to a point where now he's mainstream. Like, I feel like this was his best year so far.
Okay, word. Like, I mean, I feel like right now hip-hop has kind of turned into... Like, when Kanye West said that rap is the new rock and roll, I think that people... Did you see that interview with Zane Lowe when he said that?
No, I gotta see that.
Rap is the new rock and roll, and I'm the biggest rock star of them all. Like, when he said that, it's like... But when he said rap is the new rock and roll, to me that made sense more of, like, not even just on some imagery level, but, like, musical level. Like, now it's all... quantized melody with auto-tune and reverb to make them seem like they're these singing like Aerosmith, you know, like Nirvana. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like with like Sway Lee, like how they do a Ray Shrimmer, like it's like that type of vibe, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, man, like when you like having auto-tune and reverb has enhanced the musicality of these MCs that like just ventured into that. If you listen to like, again, bro, I be on YouTube all the time, so I'll go down these rabbit holes, you know, like you see like early Lil Uzi Vert, like he was just rapping, you know, and now he like he transitioned to this like almost like rock and roll melodic over trap instrumentation. So it's like this hybrid of genres. It's dope, man.
And just the way he performed, like I seen some of his performance, I'm not really a huge fan, but I can say like when I see his performances, it's like unbelievable. Like it looks like it's, you know, it's a rock star. Like, you know, he jumping off like 15 feet and stuff into the crowd. Like,
like people moshing and shit. Like it's dope, man. Like for what that is, I could appreciate that. Even though when I want to listen to music, I have my own artists that I go to that I prefer to consume what they say and how they say it, and you feel me?
So speaking of that, like, you know, you was born in 87, you grew up in the 90s. You know, everybody know that's the golden era of hip-hop. You know, music in general, but preferably hip-hop. Who was like your influences?
Okay, word. So like, man, like my influences, I try to go down this list and like it be changing. I noticed that like my list changes and one day I just had to write everything down. Like, all right, man, let me just see. So obviously you'll get the usual suspects. Most people that grew up in the 90s, they're going to gravitate towards saying like, oh, Tupac, Biggie. They'll just throw them out real quick. But like, that's because they limit their list to like 5 or 5 or 10 people. But like my influences are like, bro, Bone Thugs and Harmony, the Beatles. You know, my parents listened to like a lot of like, you know, old Cuban songs, Celia Cruz. But like, I'm not really influenced by them specifically, but that was part of it, so I have to mention them, you know, because they were there too. You know, like if my childhood was a photo, I have to tag everyone in the photo. You know?
You got
So it's like, man, you got like Bone Thugs. like I wasn't really too into 3 6 Mafia until like later on, like because there was that division, like pick a side, you know. Did you go through that when you were a kid?
Yeah, like I could say when it came to groups, it was kind of hard because like I had older siblings that was born like in the 70s and the 80s, and I remember my brother, he put me on with like, for example, Bone Thugs, and then you know UGK, and then 3 6 Mafia. I kind of count them more as my group or my generation, like for I guess the 90 babies, because you know when we was in the 2000s, they pretty much kind of took over. They was one of the influences to like bring out the 2000s, like with the crunk music and stuff like that. A lot of people think crunk music came from Atlanta, where 3 6 Mafia actually created that sound. And you can like still hear it today with all the samples they got, you know, in different in these new artists' music.
One thing that I could appreciate about 3 6 Mafia is how they just owned this like low fidelity and lo-fi. You know, like it wasn't even mixed too well, but it kind of gave it a vibe. You feel me? And like that's dope, man. It's like breaking rules of like audio engineering, you know?
Yeah.
Like, man, so you know, you got your Bone Thugs and your Tupac and Biggie, Big Pun, because I'm Hispanic, so like
Big Pun's a legend. I always felt like to this day, for me, honestly, I feel like he's still underrated because it's like he had flow. Like especially for, you know, back in them days, you know, Hispanics, from what I've seen, wasn't really taken too seriously, especially in hip-hop. But Big Pun, I feel like he opened up the doors for all of them.
Yeah, he was definitely, like, spearheading the whole, like, Hispanic dope MC.
Yeah.
And, like, Fat Joe, I feel like, even though he was out before, like, there's a reason why he kind of, like, took the back seat to... He let Big Pun... He knew Big Pun was the one.
Yeah.
So he like, nah, man, this is my man's right here. Let him... You know, he gave props when it was due, and that's why he was riding with him, you know?
Yeah.
But, I mean, bro, there are other artists that were also very active in that time that people seem to leave out a lot, which I actually listen to more now. A$AP Rock.
Yeah.
Atmosphere. The Definitive Jugs record label. Are you familiar with that? With LP and Cannibal Ox?
I'm truthfully, I'm still learning like the old school.
I'm gonna
like
put you on, man. I'm gonna put you on, bro.
Put me on, man.
Yeah, like that's like, because the thing is that if you think about like hip hop, like a spectrum of like, let's say like a crayon box, you know, like the '90s was like the shiny suits, big chains, bright lights, you know, Jay-Z, DMX, Ja Rule, Method Man, Redman. But then there are other artists that like they are totally okay with contrasting that. You know, being darker, more down-tempo, drums that weren't as bright, and just sloppier flows, but were still on beat, but they weren't so polished, which kind of gave that gritty, you feel me? And that's why I don't know why, man, I kind of feel like I gravitate more towards that now, because there are more times in the day that you're not so uppity.
You need that music to like... A lot of people say it's depressing, but I don't think it's depressing. It's more like you need to hear from another person's perspective to make you feel like, all right, like I'm depressed now. I gotta get out this hump and I gotta be productive. You know?
Yeah, like I don't know. Depression is like an extreme case of it, but if I were to use some type of analogy or like example, it's like you spend more time in the day thinking than you do speaking.
Yeah.
So there's more music that resonates with when you're in your own head than when you're like speaking out. You know, like people aren't in the clubs 24/7. They're not listening to the radio 24/7. So like that's actually a minor part of like of your day or your night, really. But what do you listen to the rest of the time? You feel me? And that's where these guys come in, like J. Cole, you know, or Kendrick Lamar.
Cole,
These guys, they make music for like. They make music that applies to clubs and radio, but the majority of their projects is more like writing, thinking, like reflecting on your life, storytelling. So I like that more, you know? Most of my music is that. I don't even try to make music for radio.
Yeah, like when I was hearing your music is more in that, I don't like to group people, but you know, nowadays, you know, you kind of got to, you have to. I push